Om Sahana Vavatu Sahano Punaktu Sahaviryam Karavavahe Tejasvinavadidamastu Ma Vidvishavahe. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Hari Om. Namaste and welcome to the show. I'm your host, Alexandra Savithri, Director of the Vedic Healing Center and the American Reiki Academy. I'm a Reiki master, Vedic healing master, feng shui teacher, and spiritual life coach. I've taught spiritual self-development for more than 30 years, led pilgrimages to India, and studied with Indian gurus. In this show, we cover topics related to metaphysics, Reiki, Vedic healing, feng shui, and spiritual growth. The aim of these shows is to help you create a successful spiritual practice that enhances your life, bringing you happiness, well-being, peace, and productivity so you may become the best version of you. Welcome to today's episode, which has to do with using crystals on your healing path. Now, many people think of crystals as being beautiful to look at, and certainly they are, but crystals also have healing properties. If you are already in the healing arts, then you know this. But if you're new to the healing arts, you may be hearing this for the first time. So crystals work with the properties that they represent. They're going to give you those properties, and they're going to balance your energy field. You can easily incorporate using crystals into your healing practice. And in fact, at our local Reiki circle that we hold, we practice Reiki and we add other kind of auxiliary techniques. And one of the things we are working with this week, this in July, is amplifying the Reiki through crystals. So today I'd like to talk to you about 5 ways you can bring crystals into your life and benefit from their healing energies. So the first thing I might suggest is that you begin by thinking about the energy centers in your body that we refer to as the chakras. Sometimes you'll hear the word said as chakra, but the proper pronunciation is chakra. So it's a hard CH and the R is rolled. And they are energy centers. They're wheels of energy that exist in your energy field that correspond to different abilities and properties in your life experience. So think about your chakras, where you need energy most. Your chakras provide a map, kind of, to your strengths and your weaknesses. And the reason I'm asking you to start with the chakras is then you will kind of know what areas are strong and what areas maybe need a little bit more help. So you'll select crystals according to where you need energy. And I want to tell you not to worry about this. So we all have chakras that are stronger than other ones. And the chakras are also dynamic, meaning that they expand and contract according to what is happening in our lives. So I caution you not to think of a weak area in your energy field as being permanently shut down. I've had people come to me and say they went to a healer and the healer told them their heart chakra is completely closed. This really can't be true because, again, the chakras are dynamic, so they're always opening and closing. Now, if somebody hurts you in your life, your heart chakra may close down to a degree, but it's never completely closed. So think about where at this particular moment in your life, where you would like more energy, and use the chakras as a map to determining that. Then what you will do is you can easily get a basic set of crystals that can be tumbled stones or rough stones. They can be, sometimes, they make them they're tumbled so that they're in the shape of hearts. They're really kind of pretty like that. And that's just a decorative thing. But they can just be round, tumbled stones. And get appropriate stones for the appropriate chakras. So you will apply the crystals to your chakras. You can wear them. You can tape them to your body. But ideally, you'll lie down and devote some time to giving yourself some interaction with these crystals. So you'll place them on the chakras and then allow them to do their work. Now, if you know Reiki, you can do the Reiki on top of these crystals. So you'll rub your hands together and then place your hands over the crystals or around the stones. So the stones can be on the chakras and the crystals, your hands can be on either side of the body. So one on the left side, your left hand on the left side, your right hand on your right side of your body, and the crystal will be in the middle. And you could also carry the stones in your pockets. You can also use the stones that you have selected as jewelry. So really think about what energies you want in your life, and then start to bring those stones close to your body by wearing them or doing a small crystal healing on yourself. When you do that crystal healing, let's say you're doing Reiki, you could do it for 10 minutes, for 20 minutes, for half an hour. But the point is to have the stones in contact with your body and start to feel them not simply as cold rocks on you, but start to sense their energy. And again, if you are already initiated as a Reiki practitioner or you're doing some kind of healing work, you will be sensitive to these crystals as more than just stones. So another thing you can do, the third thing you can do, is use clear quartz in between the colored stones. This is almost easier to do on someone else. You can do it on yourself as well. But I would say work with the colored stones about 15 minutes and place the clear quartz in between the colored stones. And then after about 15 minutes, you can remove the colored stones and just leave the clear stones on your body. You can just do the front of your body because obviously you can't really get to the back of your body. That's why it's sometimes easier to have somebody else do a layout on you. And also the stones will roll off of you if you do anything more elaborate than just these basic chakra stones. But when we're doing a crystal layout in a healing on someone else will really make beautiful designs with these crystals. So it's not just 7 stones laid on the body with the clear quartz in between. There'll be really an array of stones around each chakra. So the 4th thing you can do is use the stones under your massage table in a pattern that corresponds to the chakras. You can also place them around your house. You know, the large ones, let's say amethyst and rose quartz and even clear quartz, they're all very beautiful healing stones just to have giving out energy in your home. So in addition to using them under a massage table, you can place them around your home. If you can find big amethyst, they bring in such divine energy to your space. And if you've ever been in a store and seen the really giant ones that are a couple feet high, they're quite incredible to stand near. The 5th thing you can do that if you're working with these in healing work is really something we do before and after. So it is to wash the stones before and after in sea salt and store them in a special place. So with all of these spiritual objects, whether you're working with tarot cards, perhaps, or crystals, or some sacred geometry, or a mala, we store them in a special place. They are not just casually tossed on an altar. And in one of these podcasts, I'm going to talk about working with your mala effectively, and how you store that or how you use it close to your body. So your stones will be stored in perhaps a special tray or a beautiful box that is lined with some kind of fabric, and you'll wash them before and after in sea salt. Sometimes we put them in the sun, but not for very long because the sun can fade the stones. And, you know, the other thing is we don't really let other people handle the stones. And this is true for, again, any spiritual objects because they pick up and they absorb your own energy. So your mala, your prayer beads, are for you. Other people, the prayer beads hold the energies of all the prayers you have done, and they aren't to be handled. Their energy isn't to be mixed with other people's energies. So even with the crystals, if you are a healer and you're working with a set of crystals, I have trays of crystals I work with. Those trays, I don't really let anyone touch. I mean, I'm not going to be rude about it, but the stones I use them in a crystal layout on someone, so they touch other people's bodies, but people don't pick them up with their hands and handle them. And after they have been used, after I use them in the session, I place them over to the side. Once the person is finished her entire session, I remove those stones that have been placed to the side. I carry those away and wash them and then re-energize them for the next healing. And then they will be returned to my trays that I work with that have all the stones in them. So be a little bit private with these healing tools that you have. I've had people come up to me and even try to touch something that I might be wearing, some piece of spiritual jewelry. It's natural that we extend our hands, but we want to be respectful of the boundaries of other people. And this means maybe admiring what that other practitioner is wearing, but be careful not to extend your hand and touch that, because that object, not that you're going to get scorched by it or anything, but that object is special for that person and is doing work for that person in her energy field. So by you touching it, you're putting your energy into it, and you're kind of doing the person a disservice by casually reaching out your hand and touching it. And I know there's no malice usually intended when someone touches an object that you are wearing on your body, but I'd like to just say that to people so that we can all become aware of one another's boundaries with these objects. These objects that we wear are sacred, and they are worn for purposes. So they're not worn really for the purpose of beauty necessarily. It's not that we thought the object was so pretty we wanted to put it on our wrist. We, as healers, we're wearing these objects, which could be crystals, they could be rudraksha beads, we're some kind of talisman from India. We're wearing them for the purposes of protection, of strength, of power, of whatever attributes they represent. So it's just important. I wanted to mention this, that we be respectful of these things that each of us wears. In India, there's a saying that a woman should not go out of the house without some kind of chain or around her neck, because that chain is a form of protection, and usually there'll be something significant hanging on that chain, whether it's an angel or a deity or a saint. So think about that if you are a woman listening to this and you typically change your jewelry, which we all do, but always keep something around your neck that is a form of protection for you. And the last thing I want to say about these crystals is they are alive. They are emitting energy. They are emitting information. They are emitting messages. So spend some time with them, holding them, interacting with them, being very quiet and tuning into why they are in your space, what they have to give you. I had a friend once who did a juice fast, and he did a 40-day juice fast on just green juice. And I remember at the end of the fast, he said to me, he could hear the plants talking. We went for a hike, and he said, I can hear the plants talking, and they are communicating, and they are communicating with us and with one another all the time, except we cannot hear it. So it's the same with these crystals, with stones, with objects around us. There's always a communication. The challenge becomes for us to become quiet enough, serene enough, focused enough, still enough to hear the messages, to intuit the messages, to sense the messages from these objects and from your space. So I've talked about in these podcasts your daily spiritual practice, your sadhana. It's a soapbox that I get on because this sadhana is what will transform your life, and it transforms you from the inside out. And as you move into your daily practice, and as that practice intensifies, and as that practice grows, you become so still, so focused, so serene that you can hear the plants talking. You can hear crystals giving you messages. You can hear the deities, the saints, the angels speaking to you. You can hear messages from other realms. And along those lines of juice fasting, if any of you, and we will talk about working with the physical body on the spiritual path, and this does not just mean exercise. So in regard to juicing, one of the amazing things that happens when we clear out the body of the debris from poor eating habits is we start to connect with other realms very nicely. So when you sit in meditation, listen for messages that pertain to what crystals you need in your life. I often say listen because the clairaudient ability for me is very accessible. But you also have your clairvoyance, your clairsentience. So you might be seeing messages. You might be seeing visions. So tap into these senses also. Work with them when you use the crystals in healing work, and dialogue with the crystals. Ask them why they're in your space, where they would like to be in your house, how they would like to be of assistance to you. And make sure the ones that you are placing around your house, also make sure you wash them. They don't get dusty. It's one of the big no-nos of feng shui that we don't allow dust to accumulate, and especially not to accumulate on sacred objects that we have around the home. So make sure that your crystals are clean, they're beautiful, they are treated with respect, and they are stored in a nice place. They are kept private. Not that you have to wrap them up so no one can see them, but they're not just picked up and tossed around, or that they're given some kind of importance in your space, because they are serving a role. They're more than beautiful objects. They are doing something in your space for healing. And that's also another principle of feng shui that I just want to mention quickly, is that everything in your house actually should be there to serve a purpose. So there are some things that are just useful, but there should be a deliberate placing of spiritual objects in certain areas so that they can shift energies. We'll talk about the Black Hat School of Feng Shui in one of the podcasts soon, and how you can use objects in your space to alter the energies and to bring in what you would like to create. So for now, working with the crystals is something you can do to add to your practice. And there are so many crystals that it's a whole discipline and study in and of itself. But for now, work with just some of the basic stones and get to know them through what they represent, and then work with your own chakras and your own energy field and your own strengths and weaknesses to use the stones that you need and put them to the test. See what they do in your life and see how they make you feel. And mostly pay attention. If these stones come into your life, if you are in a store and you keep seeing a certain stone or being drawn to a certain stone, it's usually an indication that that particular stone is trying to communicate with you, is trying to come into your space, and at least look up the properties of that stone and find out what it is, or if you're attracted to a certain stone. You know, really the spiritual path is about becoming quiet enough that we can listen to and notice messages. Notice subtle messages in our lives, and it's such an interesting way to live. It's a meaningful way to live because it means we are operating through our intuitive sense. We grow up being trained to work only with the intellect and really to kind of negate or ignore the intuitive voice. So working on the healing path means we are tuning into subtle energies. We're tuning into things like crystals that are such lovely and powerful tools that have been given to us. So I hope you will think about your own energies and what you would like to draw into your life, and then investigate bringing some crystals into your experience, into your life, into your home, and into your healing practice. Om Asatoma Sagamaya Tamasoma Jyotirgamaya Mrityurma Amritam Gamaya. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Om Peace Peace Peace. I hope you have enjoyed this podcast. Please feel free to reach out. The website is reikiacademy.org, REIKI academy.org. Om Sai Ram, Jai Guruji, Om Amriteshwariye Namaha, Hare Krishna, Om Namah Shivaya.